Doctors warn seniors over 65 to limit walking. If they have these conditions, have you ever thought that something as simple as walking, an activity most of us consider completely harmless, could actually be risky for some older adults? While staying active is one of the best ways to support healthy aging, health experts warn that in certain cases, too much walking can actually worsen existing medical conditions, increase the risk of injuries, and place dangerous stress on a body that may already be fragile. The truth is, not everyone benefits from the same level of physical activity, especially in older age, and if we're not mindful, even well-intentioned exercise can do more harm than good. In this video, we'll take a closer look at 6 specific groups of seniors who should approach walking with caution. From those with joint issues to individuals living with chronic heart or respiratory conditions, we'll break down why modifying your walking routine could be the key to staying safe and healthy long-term. Stay with us until the end because you'll learn how to recognize whether you or a loved one may fall into one of these categories and how small but powerful adjustments can help protect your well-being. Taking the right steps today could prevent a serious health setback tomorrow. Have you ever been out for a walk in the park when, all of a sudden, your vision blurred, your ears started ringing, and your body felt like it was about to collapse? For many older adults, these symptoms strike so quickly, they don't have time to react, often resulting in a dangerous fall, sometimes in public, with no one around to help. One of the most common hidden risks in senior health is fluctuating blood pressure, especially orthostatic hypotension, a sharp drop in blood pressure when standing or moving. It's one of the leading causes of falls and serious injuries in the elderly, and yet it often goes undetected. So let's begin with Group 1, seniors with unstable blood pressure. You may have heard the term orthostatic hypotension before. It refers to a condition where your blood pressure suddenly drops when you go from sitting or lying down to standing. This can cause lightheadedness, blurred vision, rapid heartbeat, or even cause you to pass out. In older adults, this happens more often due to less flexible blood vessels and slower autonomic regulation. According to a study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, JAMA, between 20 to 30% of people over age 70 experience orthostatic hypotension, and most of them don't even know it. What makes it dangerous is how sudden and unpredictable it can be. It might happen just a few minutes into a walk or even while waiting to cross the street. Let me share with you a real story. Eleanor, 82 years old, lives in California. She's always considered herself fairly healthy. Every morning, she takes a gentle walk around the neighborhood park. It's her favorite way to start the day. But one morning, just 10 minutes into her walk, she felt dizzy. Then everything went black. When she woke up, she was in a hospital bed with a cast on her wrist. It had been fractured from the fall. Doctors later explained that she had experienced a sudden drop in blood pressure while walking. It wasn't just a little lightheadedness from age, as she had assumed for years. It was a condition that required real attention. You see, walking can be incredibly beneficial. It improves blood circulation, lifts the mood, and helps with sleep. But if your blood pressure fluctuates too much, especially if it drops unexpectedly, walking at the wrong time or in the wrong way can lead to falls, broken bones, head injuries, and even more serious complications. Experts at the Mayo Clinic recommend this. If you often feel lightheaded, weak, or out of breath when standing up or walking, try measuring your blood pressure in both seated and standing positions. If there's a noticeable drop, speak with your doctor right away. Also, make sure to stay well hydrated. Avoid walking when you're hungry or the weather is too hot. And if you're walking alone, bring a cane, a water bottle, and choose cooler hours of the day. Now let me ask you something. Have you ever felt your vision blur or your balance slip while out for a walk? If so, please share your experience in the comments below. Sometimes your story might help someone else realize they're not alone and take action before something worse happens. And if you found this part of the video helpful, please tap the like button, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to the Golden Wise Elders channel. Because here, we're not just sharing health information, we're building a space where older adults can feel informed, supported, and empowered to live well every single day. Did you know? A short walk, something that feels easy and harmless, can be the last straw for a heart that's already struggling. A weakened heart, when pushed beyond its limits, can start failing within minutes. This brings us to Group 2, seniors with chronic heart conditions. And what makes this especially dangerous is that most people don't realize their heart is in trouble until it's too late. When we talk about heart disease, most people immediately think of intense chest pain or sudden heart attacks. But in reality, millions of older adults are living with chronic heart conditions, ranging from mild to moderate, such as heart failure, arrhythmias, or coronary artery disease. And many of them continue to walk daily, holding on to the belief that exercise is the best medicine. And that belief is true, but only when the heart is strong enough to handle it. Walking naturally increases your heart rate and blood pressure, which means the heart must work harder to pump oxygen throughout your body. For younger, healthier hearts, this added effort isn't an issue. But for someone with heart disease, especially if the heart is weak or the rhythm is irregular, each step could be putting it under dangerous strain. This can lead to reduced oxygen levels, fluid buildup in the lungs, irregular heartbeats, or even a sudden cardiac event right there on the street. So what happens then? If help doesn't arrive quickly, the consequences can be long-lasting. Permanent damage to the heart, reduced mobility, or even sudden death. According to the American Heart Association, exertion-related cardiac deaths are most common among adults over 70 with uncontrolled heart failure. I remember the story of Mr. Edward, a 79-year-old man who lived with a deep love for exercise and a positive outlook on life. His doctor had advised him to limit his physical activity, but he kept up his morning walks around the neighborhood. One day, while walking, he suddenly felt his heart pounding, couldn't catch his breath, and nearly collapsed. It was an episode of acute angina, and thankfully, a neighbor noticed in time and got help. Later, Mr. Edward told me, walking really does help you stay healthy, but when your heart is weak, pushing yourself too hard is like walking toward the edge. The message here isn't to stop being active. It's about moving in ways your heart can safely handle. If you're taking heart medication, have had chest pain in the past, or often feel tired or breathless while walking, talk to your doctor about what level of activity is safe for you. You might also try heart-friendly walking. Slow your pace, breathe deeply, take breaks every few minutes, and if possible, check your heart rate with a monitor before heading out. If it's too fast, irregular, or your blood pressure is unusually high, that's your sign to rest, not walk. Have you ever felt your heart racing or found yourself gasping for air after just a short walk? If so, maybe it's time to treat your heart a little more gently. Please share your story in the comments below, because your experience might help someone else recognize the signs and get the help they need before it's too late. Have you ever thought that the sooner you start walking after surgery, the faster you'll recover? It sounds reasonable and even admirable, but in reality, many older adults have ended up back in the hospital simply because they rushed to walk too soon, too far, or too intensely after surgery. This brings us to a crucial group that needs special attention. Group 3. Those recovering from surgery or injury. During the healing process, especially after joint replacements, bone surgeries, fractures, or soft tissue injuries, an older body needs time and care to heal properly. One of the most common mistakes people make is believing that the more I move, the faster I'll bounce back. But recovery doesn't work that way. Right after surgery or trauma, your muscles, ligaments, and joints are at their most vulnerable. Walking too early, especially on uneven surfaces or for extended periods, can trigger inflammation, swelling, pain, or worse, tearing healing tissues, loosening new joints, or even refracturing a bone that hasn't fully healed. According to research from Johns Hopkins Medicine, nearly 1/3 of patients over 65 who undergo joint replacement experience complications from improper physical activity within the first 6 weeks. These can include joint dislocations, persistent pain, and delayed long-term recovery. I remember one powerful story. Mrs. Margaret, age 75, had just undergone knee replacement surgery. Her doctor gave clear instructions: start walking indoors, take small steps, and build up slowly. But she was eager to return to her normal routine and began walking outside every morning, just like she used to before surgery. Within a week, her knee was swollen and throbbing with pain. The doctor later confirmed that she had irritated the soft tissue surrounding the new joint, which set her recovery back by almost 2 months. So what should someone in recovery actually do? Here's what physical rehabilitation specialists recommend. During the early recovery phase, the goal isn't about how far you can walk. It's about how well and how safely you move. Start with gentle, low-impact exercises, light joint movements, leg lifts in bed, or a few steps around the house using a walker. Always follow the exact advice from your doctor or physical therapist. If possible, use assistive tools like a 4-point cane or walker, and avoid walking outdoors until your care provider gives the green light. Most importantly, listen to your body. If your pain increases, if your joint feels swollen or red, or if you feel weaker after walking, it's your body telling you to rest and reassess your routine. Have you or a loved one ever gone through surgery or suffered an injury? And afterward, did walking suddenly feel more difficult or painful than before? If you've experienced a smooth recovery or struggled like Mrs. Margaret, we'd love to hear your story in the comments below. Sometimes your experience can help someone else make the right adjustment at just the right time and avoid the kind of setbacks that no one sees coming. And if you found this message helpful, please don't hesitate to give this video a like and share it with someone in recovery. Subscribe to Golden Wise Elders for weekly, easy to understand, expert-backed advice designed to help you live healthier, more confidently, and more safely during your golden years. Recovering from an injury is already a challenging journey, but there's another group of people facing a more silent, hidden danger because it begins inside the body in a place we often can't feel until the damage is already done. Have you ever felt tingling or numbness in your feet, like ants crawling under the skin? Or started walking and realized you couldn't tell if you were stepping on gravel or a smooth surface? If you've experienced that, you might be living with peripheral neuropathy, and walking in this condition isn't just difficult, it can actually lead to serious harm. Group 4. Older adults with peripheral neuropathy. Peripheral nerves are what connect your brain and spinal cord to your limbs, especially the hands and feet. When this system becomes damaged, you begin to lose sensation in your soles, toes, or ankles. Over time, you may no longer feel friction, impact, or pressure, turning every walk into a potential hazard. According to the American Diabetes Association, over 50% of people over 65 with diabetes develop peripheral neuropathy, especially numbness in their feet. The frightening part? Most of them don't realize it until they develop a serious wound or foot ulcer. Let me share the story of Mr. Frank, 78, from Arizona. He had lived with diabetes for over 15 years and kept up his daily morning walks. One day, after a longer than usual walk, he noticed a small blister on his heel. But since he had almost no feeling in his foot, he didn't think much of it and continued walking like normal. Within days, that blister turned into a deep ulcer, became infected, and landed him in the hospital for over 2 weeks. His doctor told him that if they had caught it just a few days later, he might have needed a partial foot amputation. The dangers of walking without caution in this condition include loss of balance and increased risk of falling, stepping on sharp objects without knowing, friction leading to blisters, infections, and potential tissue death, slow healing ulcers that can severely limit future mobility. So what can you do if you're living with peripheral neuropathy? Here are some essential tips from health experts. Check your feet daily for any blisters, cuts, or redness. Wear soft, well-cushioned shoes with a flat sole. Avoid anything too tight. Avoid long walks on hard or uneven surfaces. Indoor walking on flat, smooth floors is safer. Switch to low-impact activities that don't stress your feet, such as cycling, swimming, seated stretching, or upper body exercises. Have you ever experienced numbness or loss of feeling in your feet while walking? Or felt pain but couldn't quite remember when or how it started? If you have, please share your story in the comments. Your experience might be the key that helps someone else recognize the early signs and avoid serious consequences. If peripheral neuropathy makes you lose touch with each step, arthritis brings a different struggle. Every step becomes a battle against pain. And sadly, many people are silently enduring this every day, not realizing that they may be making their joints worse without even knowing it. Group 5. Older adults with severe arthritis. Have you ever told yourself, this joint pain is just part of getting old, and tried to push through it by walking more because everyone says movement is good for you? Yes, movement is good, but only if your joints can handle it. If you're living with advanced arthritis, especially in the knees, ankles, or hips, walking the wrong way or too much can accelerate joint damage faster than you might imagine. Osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis are among the most common types. These conditions gradually wear away the cartilage between the bones, causing them to rub against each other, leading to pain, swelling, stiffness, and reduced range of motion. Each step you take places pressure on those joints. For healthy individuals, this pressure keeps joints flexible. But for those with severe arthritis, it's like pressing down on an open wound. According to the Arthritis Foundation, nearly 1 in 4 Americans over the age of 65 suffer from arthritis so severe that it affects their ability to walk or move freely. Unfortunately, many continue walking long distances, climbing stairs, or even doing high-impact workouts, thinking, if I just push through the pain, I'll get better. But what actually happens when you keep walking the wrong way with severe arthritis? Increased friction between bones, worsened inflammation, swelling and redness around the joints, gradual decline in mobility, sometimes requiring a walker or wheelchair, complete cartilage breakdown, leading to painful bone-on-bone contact, joint deformities, and eventual loss of independent function. I remember the story of Mr. Robert, 81, a man known for his disciplined lifestyle. Even though his knees constantly ached, he insisted on walking nearly 2 kilometers every day, believing, if I keep moving, my joints will loosen up. But the pain got worse over time. Eventually, he had to stop walking altogether. A medical scan revealed his knee cartilage was almost completely gone, and doctors told him he'd need urgent joint replacement surgery if he wanted to walk normally again. He later said, "If only I had listened to my body earlier and chosen a gentler way to stay active, maybe I wouldn't be facing surgery today." If you're living with moderate to severe arthritis, especially in the knees, hips, or spine, don't force yourself to keep walking just because you think you should. Remember, the purpose of movement isn't to push through pain. It's to maintain joint flexibility without causing more damage. Instead of walking long distances, consider switching to low-impact exercises that are kinder to your joints, such as swimming, stationary cycling, chair yoga, or gentle stretching routines for older adults. Other helpful tips: always warm up before exercising and consider using joint braces or support bands. Walk only on soft, even surfaces like grass, padded mats, or indoor tracks. Avoid hard concrete sidewalks. And most importantly, consult a rheumatologist or physical therapist before starting or restarting any exercise routine. Are you living with daily joint pain? Do you know someone who had to stop walking because of severe arthritis? If so, I invite you to share that story in the comments below. Your experience might help someone else realize it's okay to slow down before their joints suffer irreversible damage. And if today's message helped you or someone you care about, please tap the like button, share this video with friends dealing with joint issues, and be sure to subscribe to Golden Wise Elders. Every week, you'll receive thoughtful, practical health advice designed to support aging wisely, lovingly, and safely. Up to this point, we've talked about joints, the heart, and blood pressure, parts of the body we can often see or feel when something's wrong. But now, let's talk about a group of older adults whose struggle isn't visible in their legs or knees, but in their breath. They're not stopping in the middle of a walk because of sore feet or dizziness. They're stopping because they simply can't breathe, as if someone were tightening a belt around their chest with every step. If you or someone you love has chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, or asthma, walking without the right precautions can go from uncomfortable to life-threatening. Chronic respiratory illnesses like COPD restrict airflow in and out of the lungs. When you walk, especially uphill or in cold air, your breathing naturally speeds up. But for someone with COPD or asthma, that increased demand can cause the airways to suddenly tighten, blocking airflow to the lungs. This can result in chest tightness, shortness of breath, coughing fits, wheezing, or in severe cases, an asthma attack or respiratory failure that leads to collapse. According to the World Health Organization, WHO, COPD is the third leading cause of death globally, and the risk increases sharply after age 65. Here in the US, the CDC reports that over 16 million people are living with COPD, but many aren't even aware of it until their symptoms become dangerously hard to ignore. Group 6, older adults with chronic respiratory conditions, COPD, asthma. The risk of walking the wrong way. If you or someone you love has a chronic respiratory condition and still tries to walk long distances, walk fast, or do so in cold air, the consequences can include sudden bronchial spasms leading to wheezing, blue lips, or fingers, oxygen levels dropping, which may cause dizziness or even fainting, long-term lung damage, reducing respiratory capacity over time, emergency hospitalization, especially if rescue inhalers aren't carried. I remember the story of Ms. Linda, 74, who lived with her son in suburban New York. She had struggled with asthma since she was young, but in recent years it had improved. Feeling confident, she returned to walking daily. One chilly morning, she decided to go farther than usual. After just 15 minutes, her chest tightened and she began coughing uncontrollably. Moments later, she collapsed on the sidewalk, unable to breathe. Thankfully, a passerby saw her and called for help. The doctor later said that had she arrived at the ER just a few minutes later, her lungs might not have had enough oxygen to keep her alive. The most important rule? Know your breathing limits. You can still be active, but you need to manage your breath and choose the right kind of movement. Here's what specialists recommend. Warm up gently before any walk. Practice diaphragmatic breathing to relax the airways. Avoid walking in cold, dry, or windy weather. Always carry a rescue inhaler if you have asthma or severe COPD. Switch to indoor alternatives like seated stretches, upper body workouts, or a stationary bike. Have you ever had to stop mid-walk because you couldn't catch your breath? Or do you care for someone who struggles to move due to breathing issues? Please share your story in the comments. Sometimes what you've lived through might help someone else recognize early signs and get the support they need. We've just explored 6 groups of older adults who should be especially careful when walking. From unstable blood pressure and weakened hearts to painful joints, nerve disorders, and chronic lung disease, each group faces unique challenges. But the one thing they all have in common is this. When we don't fully understand our body's limits, even something as simple as walking can become a real danger. Many people still believe, if I stop walking, I'll get weaker. Or, older adults need to move or they'll get sick. But friend, the most important thing isn't how far you walk. It's whether you're walking at the right time, in the right way, and at the right pace for your body. Healthy aging isn't a race. It's a journey. One that requires slowing down, tuning in, and becoming a friend to your own body. And if you see yourself or someone you love in any of the groups we've discussed, don't be afraid. You've just taken an important step forward, learning what needs to be adjusted so you can live more safely, more confidently, and more joyfully. Do you remember all 6 groups? Which one sounds most like you? Feel free to share in the comments below. We truly want to hear your story because your words might be exactly what helps someone else recognize something vital in their own journey. If you're a caregiver for a parent, grandparent, or senior loved one, please share this video with them. A small action today could help protect someone you care about tomorrow. And before we say goodbye, I want to remind you, you are not alone. At any age, you deserve to be heard, to be cared for, and to live in a way that honors your health, your spirit, and your strength. Golden Wise Elders was created to walk with you through every video, every story, and every small moment that makes up this beautiful chapter of life. If you found today's video helpful, hit the like button so we know you're with us. Share it with someone who might need it. Leave a comment, we read every one. And subscribe to our channel and turn on the bell so you never miss another moment of wisdom and care. Every view, every click, and every message from you is what keeps us going, creating meaningful, trustworthy, and heartfelt content for our cherished community of Vietnamese American elders and beyond. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. We'll see you in the next video. Still gentle, still sincere, and always with something that adds value to your life. Wishing you good health, joy, and a meaningful journey every single day.